Anthony Hartwig here with another girls basketball coaches corner and season preview. We're joined by the head coach of the South Range Raiders, Jeff Fishel, coming on board for another season with the girls basketball program at South Range. Coach, thanks for coming on, talking to us about this program.
Hard to believe it's this time of year again, but as always, it's good to see you, Ant, and thanks for having me on.
Yeah, here we go, coach. And we always like to start with kind of a recap of last year and some of the lessons that you think are learned, especially for the players that are returning and some of the experiences that you hope they bring back into this year.
Yeah, second straight year that we were under 500, which certainly isn't the expectation of this program. And, honestly, last year was tough. We learned a lot, and, I think we've kind of drifted away from what this program and culture is supposed to be. So we learned a lot of hard lessons last year and, immediately got into the spring of this season and started working on those things. So going to take those lessons and move on and try to make it, a better experience for everybody going forward.
As a coach, what kind of things do you think kept you positive and kept you ready for this season? Because, like you said, it wasn't the season that you wanted last year necessarily. There were definitely good things to happen. There were definitely a couple of big wins along the way, and you had big performances. But I know there was a lot that you felt left on the table. So, how did you kind of tackle, you know, um, putting that away and coming into a fresh mindset for this season?
Well, I got to give credit to our younger girls that didn't accept the way that things went last season. And we had our no contact period right after the season, but we had a couple of our younger girls, our returning letter winners, that immediately once our 28 days were up, we're like, Coach, can we get in the gym? Can we get in the gym? And so we started. What would that have been, like the beginning of April, right away? And they were eager to fix the things that didn't go well last year. So the credit goes to the girls for that.
That's got to be awesome as a coach to know that you have players that are feeling the same way you did about the season that happened. So let's talk about this year. Let's go over the roster, the big names that we'll see on the floor in the Thriller Dome, and maybe some new faces that might be popping up on the floor as well.
Yeah, we're excited. We have 6 returning letter winners. We'll be led by our only senior, CC Foster. And then our other returning letter winners are Gwen Lowry, Taylor Dado, Haley John, Sophia Lucente, and Heidi Bartels was the letter one. So we get those 6 back that played a lot for us last year. Anna A is back in the fold. She played her freshman year, didn't play last year, so she's back as a junior and really brought some energy to our team. So she's back, looking for big things out of Kiera Winter and Katie Dance this year. And we got some younger girls. Kensington Scott should be in the fold a little bit. A couple freshmen. Our freshmen are Jordan Hibner, Sophia Brogan, Lily Suzak, Liliana Majelski, and Elena Thompson. So excited about them. Gianna Lucene, a sophomore, is in the fold for us. Lily Lutz is a junior that's been coming to practice and helping us out a lot. So I'm looking at my list. I'm sure I missed somebody, but excited about this year's roster. We got a lot of good girls.
Some of the players that I want to kind of talk about. One, Gwen Lowry last year had kind of a breakout season. You saw her get confident as the season went on. She went into the YSN 3-point contest, got into the finals of that. What do you see from next steps for her this year and building that confidence even more and being a really threat on the perimeter for this team?
Yeah, she was one of those girls that wanted to get in the gym right away in the spring. And, Gwen has dedicated herself to getting better and dedicated herself to this team. She's a different player than last year. She's really improved. She'll be a good interior and exterior player for us, and she's a great leader. So excited for what she can bring to us and excited to see how the season unfolds for her.
And then you also mentioned a couple of players there that were a part of the softball program and coming back into the fold as well. That really has been to state a couple of years now. So you bring that winning culture into the locker room. What's that like to have players that know how to kind of build that kind of winning culture and build that winning program?
I don't think I can overstate how important that is. The culture our softball team has, and for us to have, a lot of the girls that started last year and played meaningful innings for them and had huge at bats that are in the fold for us are helping us get our culture back in the basketball program to what it was a couple of years ago, and they're leading the way for that. So that's gigantic for us.
So now we talk about your schedule. We always start with the conference. The NE8 is always good. It's always competitive. You know that. Everyone knows that. Talk about the conference this year, what you see out of it, and where you think the Raiders can really find a way into the top tier of it.
Yeah, as always, like you said, the league's going to be very talented. This is probably going to be the most level the league's been. I don't think there's any one team in the league that you can look at and say, oh, they're going to be down this year. I think everybody's going to be really good. Obviously, we're all trying to do the same thing. Poland has won this league every year since it's been formed, so we're all trying to knock them off. I think they're the favorites, and until somebody does that, I'm going to always say that. They're going to be really good. Obviously, Coach Blanche does a great job, and they return a lot of talent. But I mean, look, Gerard was right there last year. They bring back a ton of talent. They're young and hungry, and so they're going to be really good. Lakeview and Struthers, new coaches with a lot of returning talent, so they're going to have energy, and they're going to have some new stuff for the other teams to learn. Hubbard returns a lot of girls, and they're building things rightly. Niles continues to get better every year. So this is a league that every night it's going to be interesting to see what happens, and I think it's going to be real fun for people to follow.
And then your non-conference schedule is always good. You never shy away from the tests in the non-conference. Talk about some of the teams that pop up outside of the NE8 that you're excited to challenge yourselves with.
Yeah, I'm excited. As always, I love our non-conference schedule. We start out with United, which is always a really good program, and then 2 nights later we play Columbiana. And Columbiana was great last year and pretty much gets everybody back. So that's going to be a really good early season challenge for us to kind of figure out where we're at in things. Play Liberty. We play Mohawk from Pennsylvania again. We go to Springfield. A ton of respect for Coach Matisse, and that's always a fun battle for me. Love playing Springfield. We play. Let's go through this. We're at Mineral Ridge this year again. Another team that was really good last year. It pretty much gets everybody back. Coach Harrison's done a great job with that program. So that's another exciting non-conference game for us. We end up the season at Fitch, and in the middle of the season, we get to make one of my favorite trips up to Edgewood and play against Coach Fensel and his team. Coach Fensel is one of my favorite people on earth. I think the world of him, and so we're excited for that trip. And then over Christmas break, we have our holiday tournament where we get to play Garfield, and Coach Gilbert always has those girls going good. And we play Beaver, PA in that. So pretty exciting and variety of teams and different looks we'll get on our non-conference.
Coach, I like that you brought up the Holiday Hoops tournament, one of our favorite times of the year, coming down and covering all those games that happen throughout the 2 days that are there. Coach Gilbert already did his coach's corner. He wanted to make sure you had the meatball subs ready to go. So we had to pass that message along.
They'll be there.
But let's talk about a little more about, another year of hosting that. It gets bigger and bigger every year. You get more and more teams that want to come be a part of it. What does that do, not just for the program, but also just for South Range as an athletics room to be able to say we host an event like that more and more people want to be a part of?
Yeah, that's Coach Farron's big project. That's one of the things he started years ago, and every year it grows and grows and grows. And the credit goes to him. He does such a great job of it. And it gives us the opportunity to show off our wonderful facilities at South Range. We're so blessed with what we have here, and the schools that come in and the different people that get to come watch really good basketball for a couple days. It's exciting. I mean, some of the teams that come to this thing, it's unbelievable. And, the good thing for me is at some point I get to take the coach's hat off and I can sit there and watch games for a while and not worry about our game because we're always the last game. So during the afternoon, I can watch good basketball and really enjoy that.
One of the things that we also like to talk about every year is the coaching staff that is going to be helping you along the way. I like to go all the way from middle school all the way to varsity and even youth if you want to. The players, the coaches that are helping you down at the youth level, we know they're all so important to making this program what it is. So talk about the people that are working with you to make South Range girls basketball as good as it can be.
Yeah, so really, this is year number 6 for me, and this is the first time that I've kind of had to spend a lot of time putting a new staff together. So we got a completely new staff. Jamont Ware has joined us as a varsity assistant, and he's coached varsity girls basketball a couple different places in the country. He's coached varsity basketball. He's real involved with YSU athletics. So just a guy that really knows his stuff, really connects with the girls, and brings a ton of energy and knowledge. So excited to have him. Lindsay Leonard is also on our varsity staff. She played for Medina, outstanding high school player. She played Division One basketball, I think for Robert Morris, but she played for YSU the last couple of years. So it's nice to have a kid that's played at that level come and coach our kids on a nightly basis and teach them that stuff. Junior high, Anthony Naples and his daughter are going to help with the eighth grade. Lexi. Lexi's an alumni that played for us, so I think that's always exciting. And Nick Matos is going to coach our seventh grade, and he played on our boys team, and I was his freshman basketball coach his freshman year. So just cool to see some of the younger kids starting to come back and coach and give back. And I'm not going to name all our youth folks because we have so many of them. I'll forget somebody and I'll pick somebody off. But I think we run our youth program first through sixth grade, and I think we probably have, if I do a quick count, we have 15 or 16 youth coaches that are say, "Hey, coach, I want to help out. Anything I can do." And so that's just huge for our entire program to know that we have that kind of commitment in our community, in our program, in the future of our program. So I appreciate everybody. Coaching's a thankless job, and it's a lot of time, a lot of behind the scenes things that people, fans, parents don't realize what coaches deal with. So a ton of respect for my coaches and appreciation for everything that they do.
I'm sure putting together a whole new staff was kind of a double-edged sword. It was probably real stressful, but also an opportunity to kind of get the reset button a little bit. What was that like? The process for it, looking for people, looking for what you were looking for, and then obviously finding the people that you wanted to put in those places. What was that whole process like for you?
Well, Lauren Pavlansky has been with me the last couple of years, and she's went over. Her cousin's coaching at Borden, so she's went over there, and she was awesome for us. So to find somebody to replace her is really hard. But I was really focused on what I was looking for. I wanted energy and knowledge and somebody that would really be bought into our program, because I knew if we are going to replace a coach like Pav, we needed to replace him with somebody that brought what she brought. And we did that with Coach Ware. We've done that with Coach Leonard and just what they bring. And I was really intentional about people that are going to make sure that our culture is proper. And that was our main focus when finding coaches. And same thing with the junior high coaches. I think we were patient. We didn't just hire anybody. We waited and we vetted the process the proper way. And I think we hit home runs with every single one of them.
I got to tell you, Coach, from an alum myself, I am so happy to see Anthony Naples and Lexi both be a part of that program. Those people that I grew up with, man. So
Yeah,
home
awesome
run
stuff.
for that for sure.
Yeah,
With that one. So last thing, Coach, we want to just where we've been asking all the coaches this year lessons learned from the sport of basketball. That's kind of our theme question for our coaches this year. So I want you to go over, is this some lessons that you've learned, not just as a coach, but you can go back to your time as a player at South Range as well, and some of the key life lessons you think the sport of basketball has taught you, and that you wouldn't be the same person without the sport?
Well, I think the first thing that comes to mind is that small doesn't stay small from a coaching standpoint. If there's a small issue that pops up, you need to address it, or it's going to grow and grow and get out of control. So that's kind of something that I take into my life everywhere. If there's a small issue that pops up, I want to address it now and not let it get out of hand. But I think the great thing about basketball and sports in general is that for anybody to be successful, they've got to have good people around them. Nobody ever does this alone. And so, I try to surround myself with the best people possible. I try to pass that along to the girls on our team. Like you got to be around good people. What do they say? Your people that you hang out with, the five people you hang out with the most are what you're going to be like. So pick good people, get good people around you, and you're going to be a good person yourself and be successful. So those are just a couple things that basketball has provided to me in my life, and I take with me every day.
Coach, we want to wish you the best of luck this year. We thank you so much for the time coming on. When's your first game? When's the first time we can come to the Thriller Dome and see South Range girls basketball?
So we open at United on November 25th. Our first home game is December 5th against Liberty.
All right, Coach. We can't wait. We want to thank you again for your time. We wish you the best of luck this year, and we will talk to you again real soon.
Always a pleasure. Good to see you, Ant.